Hey everybody, it's Roger with Kinsta. Today I'm joined by a new friend, Yvonne. Hey Yvonne, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm excited to talk with you and learn some more about UX design and really also about you and how you got to where you're at now. So I'm looking at your LinkedIn profile and I see you spent some time at some art schools.
hmm
How did you go from photography and painting to UX design? Like, draw a line for me there.
Well, at the time, when I got out of college, you couldn't really even study design. I mean, you couldn't study web design. That wasn't even a thing. So I'm dating myself a little bit. But at that point, I had been waiting on tables for quite a while, and I needed to make money a different way because my band was really busy on the weekends, and so the busy time for the band would take away the money for the rent. So I had to figure out something else to do. And at that point, they were grabbing up fine artists and they were grabbing up paste up graphic designers to do web design. So I kind of um, had a lucky time. I was just a little bit lucky. And I knew that I needed to do something else to make the money. So I got a book and I learned web design and I talked some poor soul into giving me a job. And it's been years. And so that's what I do now. And I mean, I still do art. I still do music. Sorry, I'm pausing a little bit. I do all of those things, but web design has been a wonderful way to feed and fuel my other creative pursuits.
Excellent. So many
Yeah.
questions that you've unpacked here. What was the band, or is the band still the band?
The band is still the band. The band is called The Locals, and we're an indie rock band. I'm the lead singer and guitar player and the songwriter, and we've been going for many years. We've got 7 albums, and we can see us on Spotify. We play a lot. We tour around the US. We did a UK tour. So yeah, the band is still the band. I'm happy to say that I still paint and I still have my band.
Excellent, excellent. And do
Yeah.
you happen to recall what the book was that
Oh
got you started?
man. It was just a beginning HTML, CS,
Okay.
and well, not even CSS, a beginning HTML. I started coding websites when it was spacer gifs and tables, so there wasn't even
Tables.
CSS. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I crazily, it was a client driven company, and one of my first clients was like a bank. I had no business coding a bank website at all. When I think about it now, I'm like, oh my God, like I did front end work on a bank's website.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, you're flashing me back to like Dreamweaver and image
Yeah,
slicing and
sure, sure. Yeah,
oh, just and then you look at the code and be kind of like, ooh, I'm not gonna look at that.
yeah,
We'll
yeah,
just move
yeah.
ahead here. Also, so another side note here is talking to clients, right?
hmm
One of the things I'm bad on both sides of this, right? I'll
Yeah,
see a design and I'll be kind of like, meh, I don't know, I'm not feeling it,
yeah.
and then I'll also the other side, I'll give someone a video or some sort of presentation and I'll get that feedback,
hmm
and it's just not helpful. And so,
Right.
as a designer,
Yeah.
what would you like it for people to come to you with when they're bringing feedback on a project?
It's funny. I did a post on this at my previous position, and as a client coming to a designer or anybody giving feedback to designers, I think it's really important to stay away from solutioning. Oh, just move this over there because that doesn't give the designer any indication as to why you want to move this thing over there. So
Hmm.
I try to steer people into things like, I don't think the message is clear enough, or I want to move this over here because I want more prominence for this thing, or on my screen it does X or Y. And so I think you just have to remain incredibly curious and try to figure out the language that they're speaking to you as a designer.
Hmm.
But when you're giving somebody feedback, I think you have to stay in that non-solutioning realm. Because designers are problem solvers, and we like to solve problems. And there's going to be a no before there's a yes, especially if it's internal feedback. No, no, I tried that. No. And then you're like, ooh, maybe yes. But so I think it's important to make sure that that designer, when you're giving internal feedback, feels autonomous, feels like you're collaborating with them, and you say, you bring it from your functional group's perspective and say, well, as a salesperson, I feel like the major messaging isn't getting through. Or so I think that that's the key when you're giving feedback, is that you stay in that the problem we're trying to solve is X instead of I don't like work, you know. But then you say, well, and then as a person dealing with clients, I don't like orange. Yeah, I love orange. This is my painting. So like a lot of times someone will come with, I just don't feel it or I don't care for it. So then I try to again be very curious, and being a user researcher, it's easier for me because I sort of have some tips and tricks on how to pull things out of people. So I would say something like, are there some websites where you are feeling it? And what part are you feeling it? Is it this or is it that? Or what is it that this makes you feel? And then going back over to the design and sort of trying to unpack again, getting at that what. I'm just not feeling it. Well, this one over here feels more energetic to me. Oh, okay. So maybe we need some more movement or whatever it may be. So I think it's just remaining like very calm and very curious. And I think each person is a little bit different. They're going to be people that are just going to be legitimately not able to express what it is that they want. And in that case, you just are going to have to do more designs and show them. Some people need to see before, I also always recommend showing your least favorite design first and then your favorite one last, like the one you think is the most successful last, because it gives them, a lot of times people are resistant to take the first thing that they're shown.
Sure.
And a lot of clients feel like they're not engaging or they're not doing their job if they don't give you critical feedback and say, "Oh, I want it changed." So it's about being curious. And I think as a designer on our side, it's about understanding that they're trying to solve a problem and just again staying curious. It's very hard because you are putting out these things that you're making work and you're like, please love this, and people kind of shit on it. I mean, it's
Mm,
easy to be very difficult on designers and a lot of companies. It's so much easier to comment on, have an opinion on colors and fonts. It's easier than solving the strategic problems a lot of the time. So you're going to get a lot of feedback that is sometimes coming from that, I think, where it's,
absolutely. Everyone's always an expert, right?
yes, 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 yeah,
And I think you brought up a great point there, and it's something I try and infuse in other people in other departments, right? Coming from a sales background, it is all about sales, right?
yeah,
What you just said was, you want to lead with maybe not your favorite, because
right,
as you said, everyone's going to be a critic. They feel like it's important that they're a critic when they're
yep,
hiring. For some reason,
yep,
people hire a designer and immediately are like, well, I have to question everything this person's going to do. And it's like, wait,
yeah,
would you do that with a lawyer? Like maybe, I don't know,
no,
but
yeah,
it's interesting. I like
yeah,
that idea of thinking in the sales process. I'll usually come in with like the most expensive option.
yeah,
Everybody freaks out, and then I'm like, okay, well here's maybe
yeah.
something that'll work for you.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, a realtor is going to show you the worst place first, and then that's in your price zone, and then they're going to show you the next one and make you think, thank God I don't have to live in that other place. So it's a very good sales technique.
Absolutely. So this is excellent, Yvonne, and I'm really enjoying it. If you had one piece of advice for someone who is getting started in UX work
hmm
today,
hmm
what would it be?
One piece of advice for people getting started in UX work today. There's a really awesome statement that we used at Girls Rock Camp, where I volunteer in the summer times. Be a croissant, not a donut. Croissants are open, donuts are closed. So I think as a UX person, it's important to remain open. I'm very, uh, I'm a person who researches best practices quite a lot to make sure that I'm operating from the newest perspective and the newest information. So being open to feedback from people is really important, and being open to what users are saying to you and being open to the other information coming into your purview to make sure that you're building innovative products, that you're building bleeding edge products, and you're not staying within your comfort zone. I think that's the biggest part of it. And users first,
I
users first.
love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
think the openness, I think, is something also you can apply to the rest of your life in
Yeah.
fantastic ways. And users first, I like that idea, the concept of giving and helping others and that's what we're all trying to do. So,
Yeah.
Yvonne, this has been wonderful. I try and keep these conversations short, but if
Cool.
somebody wants to reach out to you, what's the best way to do that?
They can get me at my email, and it is spelled phonetically because a lot of people call me Yvonne or Avon, and my name is actually Yvonne. So it's 5 E's, VON at Gmail. So that's EEEEEVON at Gmail. Or you can hit me up. My portfolio is Yvonne Doll UX.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yvonne, thank you so much for your time. It's great talking with you, and I hope to do so again soon in the future.
Awesome. Great. Great to meet you, Roger.